cool background you've got.
Well, it's a work in progress. It looks good this end. The other side is old, mate. It's just a regular shed. The other side. This side, I'll get all the good Gucci kit, like black and all that. But yeah, the other side, you got lawnmower, fucking gymnastic rings for the girl.
Come across me then.
Do you know what? I think it was on one of those people you may know sort of things that like sort of popped up on Instagram, and I was like, "That's an interesting man, and that is a hell of a beard." So
yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? It's getting there.
Tell you what, I get serious beard envy because I can't grow a proper one.
When I was 7, I literally had a beaked head, obviously clean shaven. When I came out, I was just like, gonna grow my hair and grow a beard, and that's been like that since 2013 now. So I'm sort of stuck with it, I think.
Yeah, well, suits you, mate. That was a proper, as they would say, Viking style beard.
Yeah, you don't want to see what's underneath it, that's for sure.
You don't know where the chin starts, mate.
Box.
Yeah. Yeah. So we might as well quickly just get the introduction straight in there. So you're an ex alley warfighter, 2 para.
Ex-2 para, yeah, that's right, yeah.
What forced you to become a maroon machine then?
Do you know what? I think back when I was about 13, joined the whole cadet stuff and everything like that, and then once I was in that, I basically wished 3 years of my life away to join the army, and went to the careers office, and because I was kind of the cadet regiment I was with was all like Royal Anglian Regiment, and that's what I wanted to be. And in the careers office, guy was a Royal Anglian. I was like, I want to join your regiment. You know, I know this bloke, and he turned around to me and said, "Do you ever thought about Parachute Regiment?" And I was sort of like, "No, never want to join that," you know, sort of thing. And then he sent me on a course, spent 24 hours with the Parachute Regiment down Aldershot, and basically just got thrashed and just got told, you ain't worthy of being here, basically. So it's about 40 of us on this course, and at the end of it, they were like, you know, who's anyone interested? And I was sort of like, yeah, I quite enjoyed that, even though it was a thrashing for like 24 hours, I quite enjoyed it. But still had my mind on joining just normal infantry regiment, and then went down to Purbright for my medical and my fitness, and on my paperwork it was Parachute Regiment, and still kind of argued it. Came top 3 for the fitness, passed the medical, and then the officer did the interview, was sort of like, right, yeah, you got the criteria for Parachute Regiment. Still tried to argue it, but on my paperwork it was day 1.
Yeah.
Lichfield, so that was me. I was off
big fucking stitch up, really.
Yeah, but looking back, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. You know, it was best thing I've ever done. Bit daunting, obviously. Day 1 at the train station, I was probably one of the youngest guys there because I went straight in from school and everything. Most guys much bigger than me, much stronger than me. But yeah, I just persevered and loved every minute of it, really. So yeah, it's
mad how things sort of take a turn. Like I went into the careers office wanting to be a RAF PTI like my dad, and that was my focus. But because I'm thick as shit, I failed the aptitude test. Well, I put myself down a bit there. I missed out on PTI by a mark, but in my head, a mark is a fail's a fail. So I was like, oh, what's the next most physical job? And they went, oh, the RAF regiment. So I became one of those creatures.
I've got a couple of mates there.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, because I met some of the best people in my life. I ended up meeting my wife because I was in the regiment, that sort of thing, and it never looked back.
Yeah, I got a mate stuck down at 63 Squadron. Hates every minute of it.
I bet he fucking does. That was when we went through basics and that, and we were getting ready to get given our squadrons. Our 2 squadrons that were on for our selection phase was 15 Squadron, which is the one I went to, and 63. And it was like, I was like, fingers crossed. I was like, please don't. I could barely iron my kit when I was going through basics. So I was like, they'd fucking get rid of me straight away.
I said, my mate, even down there, he was like, best recruit. He was the fittest guy there. He's only been in Squadron for about 6 months. He's done his pre-para, he's done his pre-para and everything like that. And they still won't send him over to 2 Squadron because he wants to get down to SFSG.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's just like he's kind of stuck at the moment, and I tell you what, I just feel sorry for him because it's just,
Mate, they do that though. That's the thing. Like even when I was well, we were getting ready. It was either when we were getting ready to deploy to Kandahar or Bastion. I can't remember which one it was, but I had it in my head. I wanted to become a air signaller. I wanted to be TAC P. I wanted to be a JTAC. I was like, that's what I want to do. Because I was fairly decent at comms. I was a bit of a comms geek. I was pretty decent at it. And I went, I want to do that. And then it was, no, you're staying on the HQ flight and you're going to do the radios for the squadron. I was like, hang on. So you're stopping me from progressing in my career because it suits you. And I was like, oh. And then that's when the fucking love started to fall out of the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, why be there if you don't want to do something? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they did it with so many different people.
Yeah.
Like another mate of mine was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to put my papers in," and I went, "Oh, no, don't do that. We'll progress you. What do you want to do?" And he was like, I don't know, pre-power. We'll just say pre-power for the sake of it. Why not? Fancy getting my wings?" And he was like, oh, "Okay, cool. We'll send you on a Bravos course instead." He's like, I don't want to do mortars. What are you on about?
Yeah.
But that was always the way.
He wants to get their, it's always like he wants to get their motorbike license. 20 blokes put their hands up, and it's right, you're on a shit job now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely.
So obviously deployed. Was it Herrick 8?
Yes, so yeah, Herrick 8 is where it all kind of went a bit wrong. Prior to that, obviously done Telic as well. But yeah, Herrick 8 was 2 paras deployment to Afghanistan. So yeah, it was a summer tour as well. So yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. So we were taking over. It was we took over from 4-5 Commando. So obviously prior to that, you had 3 para. Then it was 1 Royal Anglian, and then yeah, 4-5 Commando. So yeah, we took over from them. They'd actually had a rough winter as well, 4-5. Some pretty nasty injuries along the way, which met most of those guys down at Headley Court after obviously what happened to me and that.
I bet.
But yeah, Herrick 8, yeah.
But for the people that don't really know, obviously summer tour tends to be a bit more kinetic. Am I right? Due to the fact that they're out and about.
Yeah, it's kind of obviously Afghanistan. You know, from the winter sort of. You know, it's still quite warm. You know, when it's sort of sunny now, but the wind sort of picks up. It does get pretty cold. Yeah. A lot of the Taliban tends to, I wouldn't say hibernate, but it tends to the sort of fighting season, as they call it, tends to get like a little bit. And they're going to a bit of hiding. It's kind of when the poppies are starting to grow, obviously for their harvest season for opium. They tend to protect their loved crops. So yeah, it's summer tour is definitely a bit more of a kinetic, as you put it, for sure.
Yeah. So it's, I say unfortunately, people always say it's mad when somebody says that. During my sort of time in Kandahar and things like that, it wasn't very kinetic at all. We were more of a hearts and minds sort of mission. Go out, give some blankets and some radios and stuff like that. It's one of those where it's like, as an infantryman, you're like, oh, I wish someone would fucking shoot at me.
Yeah.
Like, I never actually, the most I really got was I had to confirm on a fucking IED that wasn't, and my corporal pulled the wire out. That was about as scary as it got, apart from a few rocket attacks. What's the adrenaline rush like for those that don't really understand?
I mean, my first contact, my tour started off up in Kajaki, so it was right up in the north of Helmand. So I always tell people, imagine Helmand like East Anglia sort of thing. It's kind of imagine like Camp Bastion sort of down where sort of South End sort of is. I was up north of sort of like where Norwich is. So I was right up at the dam. And for those who don't know, the dam, it kind of allows all the power and electricity to sort of run Helmand Province, and then you got the main river, River, and then either side of that, about 50 meters either side of that, you got what we call the green zone, and that's when all the obviously the water, you know, because it's all been powered off one turbine at the time. That allows the green zone to then form. Then obviously then allows for the poppies to grow and everything like that. Now the dam itself, when I was told up there, was only going to be run by 3 people in the world. There's only 3 people in the world that can do it, and the guy that was there when we was there was some mad redneck ex-Vietnam veteran who had like green lung and all the rest of it. I mean,
yeah, I bet.
Proper tap. His name was George or something like that, and he literally they had underground bunkers and all sorts of stuff in case it fell into Taliban hands. I mean, it's only 3 people in the world, so the Taliban couldn't run it, but it's embarrassment of losing it. But yeah, so our job was really to protect that, really. But obviously, we had 2 front line of enemy troops, flets as they're called. We had the northern flet, which is a very desert environment, and we had the southern flet, which is a very sort of green zone environment. And going down the northern flet, it was a case of patrolling out so far, come under contact by small arms, and because it was quite a long distance, so it was our machine guns, mortars, anti-tanks, and the planes that were circling in the air that kind of finished the contact. But down in the southern flat, forward line of enemy troops, that was more a bit up close and personal. And under fire, I mean, most of the guys started laughing, to be honest. It sounds pretty
most civvies would be like, what, you fucking led.
Yeah, but honestly, most of the guys, I mean, especially my GP, the general purpose machine gunner, he had a tendency, once he popped his head up, you know, something like the wild, kind of I think a bit of a nervous thing, but at the same time is that you've done so much training and so many times you've done over and over this, you actually want to do the job. And I think kind of that sort of laughter is an actual point of like, let's get this job done. So
this is my job. This is what I signed up for. Come get, as the Americans would say, come get some.
Yeah,
you know, we're not quite that cool to say shit like that. But I think that's quite a big problem with a lot of different infantry units. Obviously, I'll use my regiment as an example, that never really got to scratch that itch. I think that's a lot of problems come from that, because obviously you're in a high stress environment constantly. You're constantly waiting, and then there's no release, and then you get sent to Cyprus for a day to decompress.
I never got that far, so I don't know.
Get your little holiday. Oh, of course not. No, you pulled your sick note out instead.
I was living dreaming Birmingham Celio by that point. So yeah, but they did offer to take me out, and I just thought, why do I want to be stuck on a beach in a wheelchair with loads of wires hanging out?
Genuinely, they
did offer. I was just like, nah, no thanks. I was still busted up then. I was still having a lot of surgeries at that point. I just went, nah.
Yeah.
It was kind of I wanted to get fixed up before the blokes kind of like really kind of took the mick out of me and everything. So yeah.
So some of the listeners will be like, what are you on about sick note? So unfortunately you got friendly fucked, didn't you?
I did, by 7RHA. So it was a 105 shell, an airburst shell. So it was a double whammy effect as well. But something that could have really could have been prevented at the time. I mean, do you want me to say everything that happened, or? Yeah,
crack on. Get all the details out.
I mean, just jump in at any point if you want to jump in and ask any questions or anything. But yeah, basically, so it was about midway through the tour, so it was sort of August. So it was at the peak of the fighting season, and we'd moved from Kajaki up in the north of Helmand down towards Sangin, where the fighting was really increasing. And we were backing up C Company 2 Para that were getting smashed out of patrol base Inkerman, or it's incoming, as they say. And the blokes out there were literally having to fight their way out of the FOB, forward operating base, just to get out onto the ground. It was almost like it was a patrol base banging in the green zone. And there was a power station just about 50 meters to 100 meters out to the front of it. And literally the Taliban would park their motorbikes behind this power station and launch their attacks onto Inkerman. So I was part of D Company 2 Para, and we was tasked to take over a patrol base that 3 Para were manning. And all it was a compound. It wasn't like, it didn't have anything in it at all. It was literally a compound, that was it. And basically we was a standing patrol. So we was in between Inkerman and this power station, keeping eyes and ears on this power station. So when they formed up, we could hit them before they had a chance to launch onto the Inkerman. Anyway, the whole of Herrick, the main objective was to get a second turbine into the Kajaki Dam. As I sort of mentioned, it was only run off one turbine. And the thoughts were, if there's a second one went into the dam, it would promote more electricity, more power, make the green zone bigger. So it meant that locals didn't have to grow poppies for opium for the Taliban, for heroin. They could grow better crops. So it was a whole heights and minds.
Actual crops.
Yeah, actual crops and actual have, freedom of the Taliban. That was kind of like the goal. Now this turbine wasn't just like a little generator. It was broken down to 40 low loaders, I think it was broken down to. So and that was going from Camp Bastion all the way up to Kijaki. So like I said earlier, it's like going from Southend up to Norwich on a 40 low loader convoy. It'd be like the Coca-Cola truck at Christmas.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, it was a big bullet magnet going up through the desert, and our job was to basically push the Taliban back to allow this convoy of trucks to come through. And where we was working out of, there was a Afghan village nearby, which was a Taliban stronghold. So our job was to go out, cover of darkness, form up behind this village, and then hit it at first light. So straightforward fighting patrol type of attack. And already we hit problems from before we even went out. Just as we were about to leave, Patrol Minimise was called. So those who don't know, an Estonian call sign had been hitting a huge IED, and all medical assets had to go and deal with that situation. So no patrolling could take place because there was no medical cover. So we was in our patrol base for the night. Now I was a section commander, so for me it meant gave us more time to rehearse, practice, what was going to happen and everything else, and kind of brief the guys up better using models and things like that, so we could attack this village a bit better. 4 o'clock in the morning, the order came down that patrol minimizer had been lifted, and our patrol would go ahead. Now, normally that would be fine, but it only gave us about an hour and a half, 2 hours tops of darkness, and it would soon be light. And we had a whole company going out, and would be in full view of the Taliban. Now, normally, as you know, Parachute Regiment or most infantry regiments are kind of known for carrying weight on their back, moving across ground quite quickly. But because the IED threat and the mine threat was so severe, as you know, everything's slowed down, and you can't rush the blokes.
No, you definitely can't.
The day, they're on the ground with a bayonet, poking the ground looking for mines and IEDs, despite having headshot in your ear going, hurry up, get the blokes up there. You've got to go as slow as it takes.
That's I used to hate that, like pulling up at a vulnerable point, or if we're on a footsie or whatever, and then you've got the fucking Valens out doing Obama, and they're like, will you fucking hurry up? You're like, you fucking then you can't.
Yeah, you get you down here and you fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? It's just it was my pet hate as a commander, getting briefed up saying you've got to hurry the folks up.
Well, I was Barmer commander a couple of times, and I had my fucking commander coming over to me saying, can you hurry him up? I'm like, no, I cannot.
No.
I'd rather them lot get through it as fucking slow as possible. I want these guys to not that anything happened, but I want these guys to come fucking back. I don't want to be having to confirm and then trying to get to him when they're blown up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had gone a bit of track here, but I had a different patrol where we were like a towpath, and 100% there was an IED still on this towpath. We were getting channeled in down to it.
Yeah, of course, that's what they do.
To the left there was like a poppy field, and I thought, right, I'm going to take my blokes across that field because they're not going to put an IED in their source of income.
No.
So I got halfway across the field, and I tell you what, it was just like walking through camp going across the grass. I got halfway across, and the boss got on the radio, and he was like, "Can you get out? Can you get out of that poppy field? You're upsetting the local Taliban command." I'm like, looking around, I'm like, "Tell him to fucking come down here, then."
Yeah, that is one of those. You're upsetting the poppy fucking Taliban commander. You're like, well, good.
Halfway across, I thought, I'm halfway across, might as well keep going. He's like, no, you need to turn around and come back the way you come. I'm like, I'm not walking through camp cutting across the grass trying to get to the cookhouse quick enough. I'm trying to save the blokes' lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
you're mad.
I've done that half and then take my section down there. I guarantee it, 100%. I even, I put my mum's wage on it. They would hit an IED.
Yeah.
And if not, someone killed, half a section is going to be seriously injured. And I've got to explain to someone's wife, girlfriend, mum, dad, boyfriend, whatever, that little Johnny's just been blown to bits, and it's my fault for doing it, and I'm not fucking doing it.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing he was up against. You always felt like you had one hand tied behind your back all the time because you always felt he was upsetting somebody. But anyway, I digressed.
That's fine. Digression.
We were just about to leave the patrol base. Op minimizer being called, and we thought we was in for the night. But 4 o'clock in the morning, it came down that we were to leave our patrol base. So it was a bit of a panic because of we had obviously this kit equipment, the mine threat, the IED threat. We left anyway. And for this particular patrol, we had the Scottish Dragoon Guards as our fire support group. They were in scimitar tanks up in the high ground. So they were our sort of fire support for this as well. So we set off and then straight away on our ICOM scanner. So that's the, as you know, the radios we kind of listen to the Taliban are saying. They just use obviously walkie-talkies, and we have interpreters, and they can pick up on it. They knew we were out on the ground, and they're getting into position ready to attack us. So
they knew you were out on the ground before you left the fucking.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, every time, you know. So yeah, we're in my section. We was the point section for the platoon for the company, so we was right at the front of it all. Moving across open ground in Arrowhead, and then we came to the village, and then see the compound, the first compound that we were told that we were going to be taking. And it's quite an eerie sight to see. You see all the locals that don't want to get involved. They literally drop the shovels and move the other side of the 611, the main supply route that runs through Helmond. And that's not like the M1 or something like that. It's just a piece of strip of sand, you know, that kind of like main supply route through. But yeah, all the blokes, all the local Afghans literally go and sit on the other side of there. You know, the Taliban tell them if you don't want to get involved, you know, sort of clear off sort of thing. Yeah, so big combat indicator something's going to happen. Anyway, we moved in, we took over the first compound, and I always say to people, like, these compounds aren't like, you know, they're just four walls. Inside, there's no roof on them. Inside, you've got like maybe a series of smaller rooms. It's normally a staircase that takes you onto a ledge where you can look over the top of the wall sort of thing. And went up on the ledge, took my GPMG gunner, so my general purpose machine gun, and as we lifted our head up, we could see I always say sort of young fighting males, because you can't confirm they're Taliban straight away. Running towards the tree line, you know, and all carrying rocket propelled grenades and small arms weapons and that as well. So we knew we were about to come under attack, and got a piece of kit, laser rangefinder, and looked at the wood to see the distance from me to that wood, and it was 34 meters away, so it's very, very close. And as my GPM got in position, we came under effective enemy fire, as they say, from the tree line, and that was us. We was engaged in a big firefight, and I say all the firefights in that tour, that was probably one of the most fierce ones I've been involved in. You know, the whole wall was just getting smashed to pieces. You know, it was a lot of fire coming from this wood. But our other platoon, so you had 10 and 12 platoon, they were straight away flanking round, and everything was going forward, straight forward, platoon attack. It was or company attack. You know, it was like practiced it.
As you're practicing live firing sort of thing.
Live firing.
It was all going to plan.
Yeah, as previous firefights before, everything was going straight forward, going well. And as we were saying, we were winning the firefight and everything. And then this is when the FOO, the forward operating officer for the artillery, who sits about 50 meters behind the front line with the sort of the OC's sort of company TAC group, he come on the radio, the company net, and he was like, artillery's coming in 5 minutes. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. I'm just, you know, it's 34 meters away. Danger close.
That's danger close, that.
Yeah.
Like you only want to call that in if you're in the fucking shit. And if you're winning the firefight, you don't need to be calling that in. Even I know that.
Yeah, two other platoons flanking around as well. So everything was going straight forward. And then, see, the thing was, behind where the Taliban had hit us from, there was another village behind that.
Yeah.
We'd never been that far out before. We didn't even know who was in that village. You know, if it was innocent people. Even if it was empty, the Taliban could say that, you know, collateral damage, that we took out 400 civilians. So we had to be very, very careful what we were doing. And we had planes circling the sky as well. We had 2 American bombers. There was a French plane up there as well. And they're all circling. They're all saying, we can't drop because of the village behind. We don't know what's in there. So I've told the forward operating officer, do not fire. You know, we're only 34 meters or 3-4 meters away from the target. 2 other corporals have come off the net as well and said exactly the same thing. So between the 3 section commanders, you're looking at 30 years experience on the ground there.
Yeah.
And went quiet for a couple of minutes. And the last thing I heard on the radio was, get you guys heads down, it's going to come in close. And I've just gone, fucking hell, seriously. And then heard the cannons sit, or the guns sit about a mile away in the desert somewhere, and heard three shots go off, a dun 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 like that, and the first one landed behind us, and I thought at first we'd been outflanked, I thought the Taliban had got in behind us and were fucking RPGing their way into the compound we was in. It wasn't until the second one landed between us and the tree line that I realised it was our own artillery. And when the second one landed, it hit my GPMG gunner, hit him on the arm and everything like that, and hit my second in command, my 2RC, my best mate, hit him in the head. I thought he'd killed him outright. He actually went on to, he survived but suffered a horrendous traumatic brain injury. And I was at this point, I said to the blokes, get off the wall, get inside the compound, get into hard cover. And there's a wall between me and the other side, and then the third one landed on the other side of the wall and came through and hit me.
Fuck me.
Yeah, and that was like I say, it was an airburst round. So an airburst round, it kind of hits the ground, explodes, and then punches in again. So if you're in a trench or something, you still can get something. So yeah, it came through the wall and smashed me. So yeah, I was in man down after that. So
that is outrageous that they didn't. Oh, that's fucking wound me up a little bit, actually. They don't listen. Like, you literally just said you're too close and we're winning the firefight. Why are you firing that?
That's it. I mean, I used to be like, you know, oh, can't say this, can't say that, but you know, these days I don't really sort of give a fuck, really. You know, I'm out of the army. I've been out since 2012, but prior to this forward operating officer blowing me up, he also did. This was like the build up to this. He did two. Probably the most stupidest things I've ever seen someone do on operational tours. Again, when we was up in Kajaki, he took a photograph with a digital camera in an ambush at night time with a digital camera, and we was compromised with a flash because he wanted a picture next to the GPMGs in the killing group of an ambush. So yeah, this is the sort of mentality. So
a fucking ambush as well.
Ambush, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I was in one of the
I'll hold my hands up. We're all fucking combat cameramen, but there's a time and a place for fucking taking an alley photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Was it an officer as well? Like,
yeah, same officer, captain. Yeah, he.
That sums it up.
He was in the admin group of the ambush, and he actually crawled into the killing group and decided he was going to get a picture next to one of the GPMGs at night time. And I was in the left-hand cut-off group, complete radio silence, standard ambush drills. Also, I saw this flash and went, "What the fuck was that?" And I went, "I don't know." One of the blokes said, "Was that a camera?" I said, "Well, someone's in the shit next to me." The sergeant major's come on the radio, and he's like, "Ambush compromised. Make your way back to the make your way back to the fob." And I was like, "Someone is going to get
fucking hell."
And mate, it was when I got back into the camp, and it was like, you know, when someone's in the shit, it's that whole hollow square.
Yeah, hollow square now.
Yeah. All the blokes stood there going, "What the fuck?" And the sergeant major's like, "Right. Which one of you fuckers pick a fucking ambush?" Everyone's like that, fucking like that. And this officer's like,
me.
Sergeant Major, that was me. And then the Sergeant Major's like, "Right, everyone fuck off." I was like, "No, hang on a minute." I said, "If that was one of the blokes, they'd have to fucking get kicked out of them. They'd be fucking the blokes would literally lynch them." And this bloke, he got 2 extra radio stags. As you know, if you get a radio stag, you're in camp while the blokes are on the ground.
Yeah, really. Fucking basically chilled out, listening.
So and then the next thing we did after that, we was working out of a patrol base called Fob Robinson, which was not far from Sangin. And most of these patrol bases are on high ground. It's always, you know, the 400-meter sprint to get in, sort of thing. You know, the old sniper fire and all that sort of shit. And it's, you know, it's a lick running up with all the kit, with all the heat and everything else. But I always said, as a commander, you get paid the extra money to be switched on even when you're fucking hanging out your arse.
Yeah.
And
why you get promoted.
Yeah, and 100%. And came in, unloaded my blokes, brought them to one side. He brought his guys in. He's like, "Yeah, unload like this." And I was like, "Boss, one of your blokes has still got a magazine on his weapon." He's like, "Fucking don't tell what to do. Shut the fuck up." I took a step back. He just went clear. Boom. This lad finally.
Oh, ND as well. Cheers.
And I turned around to the boss. I said to him then, I said, "Boss, I said, you're either going to hurt someone, mate, or you're going to fucking kill someone." And then 2 weeks later, he blew me up.
He fucking blew me up. Cheers for that. Cheers, mate. Don't hold any resentment, mate. You're shit. Yeah. No, to be fair, we didn't have anything quite as fucking dramatic as that. But we had an officer who was a bit of a fucking cowboy. He basically wanted to take some alley pictures with a teddy bear that is, yeah, that's right, you heard, with a teddy bear that his missus gave him. So he made a climb 3 Mile Mountain in Kandahar so that he could have photos up the mountain with this teddy bear, right? Do you know what his excuse was to send us up there with full ECM kit, everything? They might put IEDs up there. What, up a fucking mountain? I don't fucking think so, you cunt. We got back, I weighed my kit, I had 135 pounds of kit. That's like a 9.5 stone man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no wonder I went from 5 foot. Well, no, I was almost 5'8" when I joined the fucking military. Now 5'6". There's a reason for that. I decompressed. But there was another one as well. The best one, right, was we were just literally about to go out on a. We were about to go and take over Fob Luke in Kandahar. So we pulled up. Obviously, got our rifles out of the fucking ISO, all that sort of shit. Got ready, pulled up, ready to load up at the fucking checkpoint to go out. And then the boss comes over and he's like, "Tommo, did you pick up my rifle?" I'm like, "Sorry, what?" And then I still remember today, one of my closest mates, Dan Shipper, he lives down the road from me now. He went, "Boss, did you just ask him if he picked up your IW, which stands for Individual Weapon System? Did that's your weapon?" And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to go back and get my rifle." So you forgot your rifle? Can you imagine if one of the lads forgot his own rifle? You fucking clown. But he wasn't the worst boss in the world. He did some fucking stupid things like that. But he was a previous reservist,
right?
Lower ranks like us lot, and then he's obviously got commissioned and joined the regiment full time. And he still holds that resentment to the fucking lads that fucking gave him shit. He was a fucking clown, mate.
we had this was in Iraq. We had a platoon commander, and he left his helmet behind at one of these like Iraqi border forts, right?
Oh, he left it on the ground.
Yeah, instead of like saying, "Bloke, come on, I've left my helmet back so I can get it." He grabbed one of the other blokes' helmet, which was way too small for his head. Yeah, this bloke had a fucking great Sanger head, do you know what I mean? And he put it on his helmet on his head, and everyone was like, "Boss, that isn't your helmet." It's like, "Yeah, it is." And it
Definitely
like,
is.
Squished in there like that.
100% my helmet. So you've got a massive head.
Trying to pass it off as his own, it was someone else.
But it's mad, isn't it? It's mad because I fully understand they're highly educated fucking blokes that have gone to obviously university and private school and whatnot. Yeah. But you shit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I've always like I don't know why in my head I've always thought you surely you just get promoted and then all of a sudden you're an officer. When I was a kid, that was my thinking. It was like, I'm going to go through my years of service and eventually I'll be, I don't know, fucking general or something. That was my logic when I was a kid. And it was like, when you actually get in, I remember, like, we were quite lucky with that officer that I had in Kandahar because he had done previous tours to Iraq and then came out to Kandahar with us. And then you look at some of the fucking new breed that come in and you're like, I don't understand your logic behind any of it. We had a strange mix, mate. We had brand new officers, and then we had tax sergeants in that were on like basic training for the last 10 years. Okay. So they hadn't been on tour for like 10 years, and then they're like, "We're going to give you all this gen. We're going to give it all, and you're going to do it." And we're like, "Hands up! We don't do that anymore." We're not fighting in the Cold War anymore, mate. That's it's fucking madness. But the RF regiment was always backwards like that in terms of progression. Until they brought in the Lance Corporal rank, we were stuck because it was like you're a senior aircraftsman until you get corporal, and you're like, okay, well I'm doing a Lance Jack's role and I should be a corporal now. But I can't because the corporals haven't been promoted to sergeants because the sergeants have done 36 years. It's like, it's like dead man shoes. Can you guys fuck off so we can progress these fucking troops? Yeah. Like, you got like SACs that have done fucking nearly 10 years. It's madness.
we always are platoon commanders and that. We like new platoon commanders straight out of Sandhurst. They're in a rifle company for like 2 years, and it's just the same exercises. You know, they all need the same ticks in the box and that. You know, some of the senior blokes, you know, done it 7 or 8 times, or whatever like that, and they're like, new boss all super keen and like boss, come on, mate.
Oh, super keen as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
so keen. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, some of them as well. They just get beasted by the blokes. I mean, once they find a weakness in them, that's it. They just fucking smash.
Oh yeah, we gave him some shit. We had a leave and do. Well, we turned it into a Christmas party, but it was in October because we left at the end of October. But it was our Christmas party. We had all the families down, and I remember our boss turned up, and he had this very attractive young lady appeared with him, and we were like, "How the fuck's he done that?" We were like, you've paid for that, haven't you, boss? How much is she a night? And that was it for the whole night. It was like, how much you pay for her, boss? And he's like, stumbling. You're like, yeah, she's definitely a hooker, mate. Fucking brilliant.
Brilliant.
What I'm going to do, Mike, because we've got 2 minutes left on this one, I'm going to hang up and send you a new link, and then we'll about 40 minutes, and then otherwise we'll be getting into a conversation where we're like, and it goes fucking dead, and it annoys me. Leave it with me. I'll send it over to you. Stand by for the ad breaks. Welcome back. We'll use that for the ad breaks. I don't, because I haven't got any sponsor. Well, I have. I've got one sponsor. But anyway, so we went on a hell of a tangent there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fucking team did a fantastic job with the medevac getting you out. Was it Mert that got you out?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So obviously,
big shout out to Mert.
Commander 2IC, both man down. So yeah, it's one of my Toms, who's actually now Sergeant Major now. Was the first on. I mean, I'll never forget. Sorry, mate.
I was saying, like,
frozen.
Fair play. Oh,
sorry, you froze there. Did I freeze? Or you're right?
I think we both froze at the same time.
Okay.
No, I was just saying fair play that he stayed in and Sergeant Major now. Fucking fair play to you.
Yeah, he's done well, right? Yeah, but I'll never forget. When after I got hit, I'm thinking, where's the medic? And it wasn't our usual medic. It was a different medic from brigade. That's our normal one. Parachute guy was actually on R&R at the time. So I had this guy from brigade, and he was in more shock than what I was. I remember crawling towards him, and then my rifleman ran over, punched him square in the face, and was like, "What fucking good are you to us?" And literally stamped on his head like in this doorway. And I was trying to crawl away, thinking there was someone else going to come in again. And then he was like, "Where are you going?" That sat on me, which freaking hurt because all my ribs were busted. I was busted up pretty bad as well.
Yeah, of course.
And he tourniqueted my arm and leg, gave me morphine. And in there, the blokes, another medic from another platoon, ran across 100 meters across open ground to get to me to put fluids in and everything. And the blokes got me on a stretcher and ran me out there to HLS. I mean, from what I was told, it was about just over a mile they had to cover. Get me out. It dropped me a couple of times.
Yeah, you probably deserve
Sorry?
You probably deserve that for something.
Oh yeah, definitely. I never forget. It got to this like ditch. He just threw me into this water and kind of like sat there going, "Fucking hell!" And then so I'm grabbing around the back of the body armor, just dragging me up the bank sort of thing. So yeah, they did a great job to get me out. And then Mert was there waiting. That was it on there. Like, way back to Bastion.
Fucking fair play to.
Yeah.
Not a lot of.
Not
a lot of praise gets given to the battlefield medics.
No, not at all.
And the lads that fucking deal with it, even if the battlefield medic isn't, if the medic gets hurt, like the drills and drills that, most infantry fucking soldiers possess. In that sort of term, like, not even anywhere near that scale. But we had it on a live exercise where we had the amputees in action, and I remember watching our medic just fucking melt. Turn to shit. And I was like, this isn't even real.
Yeah.
This is an exercise and you've melted. And I was like saying to our boss, I was like, she's not good enough to come out with us. She did with us, standard. But yeah, fair play to the fucking battlefield medics.
Yeah, I did a great job. I mean, this was sort of 5 months in, so the blokes have been quite hardened up by seeing their mates get good. if not killed. So yeah, I mean, see how the guys worked on me, and you know, it sort of I was always fair, but also quite tough on my blokes, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
If we was back in Colchester, and there'd be like blokes, you know, sitting around all, you know, sat in their rooms just fucking playing PlayStation, whatever. I'd be like, right, let's take a couple of weapons out, do some low-level training. The bloke's like, come on, do you know what I mean? I'm saying, tell you now, we're going on this fucking tour. And
Yeah.
if I get whacked, one of you fucking blokes have got to take over. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And in that day, it kind of, for me, it was a proud moment, to see my blokes treat me in that professional that they did was quite something. So yeah, proud of that.
We used to curse. So our tax sergeant on A flight on 15 Squadron, when we went to Kandahar, he was the squadron lead medic. Fucking Uber BFA he was, mate. He fucking used to work on the ambulances and all sorts. But we would literally walk through the hangar and he would shout, fucking Cat A, fucking right leg amputee, deal with it. And you're like, literally just walking through the hangar, and you'd be like, oh fuck. Then you'd like get your tourniquet on, self-medicate, all that sort of stuff. And then your mate would come over and check it, blah, blah, blah. Bosh, skills and drills sorted. And he was like, we're like, fucking hell, Stoney, will you chill the fuck out? We're not even deploying yet. And he's like, no, but we are soon. And you need to know this shit like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah, no, definitely.
At the time, you're like, fucking dickhead. But then when you look back on it, you're like, I'm so fucking glad he did that, because I know for a fact that if one of the lads got hit, you know exactly what you're doing.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is what I told my blokes. I said, you know, we're gonna, if something hits the fan, I said, it's probably pointing at the newest bloke in the section and goes, probably gonna be you that's gonna have to treat one of us.
Yeah.
Because that's the way. Todd's law. It's always the new bloke. Fucking hell. I mean, look at, you know, 3-Para in Kajak when they walked in the minefield. They had young private soldiers there dealing with catastrophic amputations. You know what I mean? So it's just goes to show, it doesn't matter who you are and what experience you've got. It's, you know, it's the guys on the ground that's first hands-on experience. So yeah, I mean, like I said, my blokes were amazing. Absolutely chuffed to bits with them. But yeah, on the helicopter, and then they give you all the drugs in the world. And I kind of remember there, I felt this rubbing on my head when I was getting carried out, and then they took my helmet off on the helicopter. A bit of shrapnel like that sticking on top of my helmet. So I knew I'd been hit pretty bad as well, and all my body armor, that was all smashed to bits as well. And
you had to keep the shrapnel.
Sorry?
Did they let you keep the shrapnel?
I kept my boot. Well, my sergeant presented me my boot.
Hey, it's fucking mad, isn't it?
He's like, there you go. I tell you what,
the little fucking thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Desert blower. There wasn't a single mark on the front of it, but the back of it looked like it'd been ripped apart. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, he gave me that. So there you go. It's a souvenir from that. You know,
a good buddy of mine, Stuart Robinson. He lost both his legs in a IED in Bastion on our last tour. And he was presented basically the top of his rifle, where it was all fucking bent in from the. He got presented that, and I was like, that's cool as fuck. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when I got hit, that was one of my other biggest worries, was that all my grenades, my phosphorus, everything else like that, was all my body armor.
And you got all the fucking Gucci shit.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought I was trying to get the grenades out of my pouch. I thought they were going to go off. And I thought, if that phosphorus goes off, I'm going to be in fucking Uber clip. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so, you're going to be crispy, mate, if that goes off.
Oh yeah. So I was just like, but yeah, I mean, luckily none of that shit went off. But that was on my mind as well. I mean, one thing at the good old Sodexo, when I dekitted, just as I was getting medically discharged, they tried billing me for 6 rifle magazines and a laser rangefinder.
Fuck off.
I was like, no, Jen. I was like, what are these 6 magazines and a laser rangefinder? They're like, yeah, you haven't got to move. I said, right, 6 magazines were blown up with me on operations, and my laser rangefinder was blown up as well. They wanted to charge me, what was it, something like 12 grand or something for a laser rangefinder? And then was it 10 quid a mag, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah,
a mag or something like that. And I was just like, nah. And I said, no, I'm not paying it. So we got to, it's like civvies, you know, it's Sodexo and everything. And I was just like, went up to the RSM, and he was like, what? I was just like, yeah. He said, right, brings up the phone, like some fucking stinking snippy down there. He's like, right,
can you have a word with these cunts, sir? have a word with these
Yeah. Anyway, we went
doing
down
fucking mess meals, but this is taking a piss.
there. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
We ended up being de-kitted. They were just like, right, have you got this? I went, I tell you what, I had my whole entire 1157 with me when I got blown up, and this bloke just went, I tell you what, just draw a line through the whole lot. So yeah, I was quite lucky I got de-kitting. But yeah, they tried billing me for that when I got fucking whacked. I was just like, fucking hell.
Yeah. I was quite lucky when I finally left, when I was doing my de-kit. They were literally like, do you want any of this stuff? Because we had fucking RAF blokes that were still working there, wasn't civvies at the time. They were like, do you want any of this? It was like, in my head, I should have kept some fucking better stuff than I did. I was like, can I have my #1 jacket? And then I literally just had a shirt from each tour, or each bit of uniform that I wore, the shirt of. So I had obviously the greens, the desert, the MTP, and then the fucking new one.
MTP, yeah.
I was like, that's all I want. Yeah. I should have fucking kept my helmet. I should have kept me fucking had all sorts. Fucking zombie apocalypse coming up. But
yeah, I'm quite cool. I kept all my parachute and everything like that. That was quite cool. So yeah, I kept most of all that.
I wasn't quite as alley as that. So. So obviously losing the leg. What was the like thoughts and feelings going through your head when you were going through that stage that you lost your mate? Your
lost what at the scene, or right leg.
Kicking leg. Didn't play football.
Yeah, right leg.
Oh, there he is. Hello, mate.
Yeah. So right leg. Below the knee. So in the amputee world, it's a scratch in the amputee world, right below the knee. So it's I can do everything I did before, so I'm quite lucky. But when you say that, how it felt, at the scene, or
sort of after when all the adrenaline's gone, you're sort of back on your own. Was it gone straight away, or was it an opt to fucking chop it
off? Well, it was gone. It was gone at the scene, but that's obviously tied it all up. Everything back at the hospital and everything. So
what was it like when you were sort of left on your own, as it were? That were you fucking
so the first thing I sort of remember really was main thing was been back in Birmingham, Selly Oak Hospital, and just because my arm got hit pretty badly as well. I nearly lost the arm as well. I mean, I've had 40 plus operations on my left arm. Yeah, and for me, it's actually that the arm's a worse injury than the leg, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of, I've learned to adapt with it and things like that, but yeah, it's kind of pretty fucked, to be honest. But it's just tried. My goal was to leave hospital and be able to put a pair of jeans and a jumper on and walk out and no one actually know what's wrong with me. I think I kind of achieved it. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was the fact of in Birmingham, you were surrounded by, you had to look left or right, and there was someone 10 times worse off than you. And everyone was like, fucking hell, it's below the knee, it's a scratch, I'm double above the knee, or an arm. I mean, I always think arms are worse than legs, to be honest. I mean, technology's got better now with regards to prosthetics.
Especially if it's your wanking end. You have to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's what I tell people about my left hand. I say it was a bad masturbating accident. I said,
yeah.
I sat on it till it went numb, and then started playing myself a bit, and then it started coming out my arm and stuff. So a few people believe that as well.
People believe anything.
But yeah, it was. But yeah, like I say, you had to look left or right of you, and there was someone 10 times worse off. I mean, some of the lads that have been burned, I mean, horrendously burned. I mean, just the screams just cut through you. How much you're constantly in pain. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to sound like too inhumane towards like the amputee world, but
yeah,
having an amputee and then having an amputee and then being burnt as well.
Yeah,
like fuck. Like I've seen the bloke that's part of is it Black Rifle Coffee? This is proper fucking military humor. Even the Americans get it. I think he literally has his Instagram handle is crispy. He's burnt to shit. I think he's lost his leg, and I was like watching him. I was like, but he is literally still living his best life, even though he's proper fucked.
Yeah,
you proper fucked. And I'm like watching. Like, wow, like to be fair, my regiment's motto is through adversity. But what you guys go through, that, and you're very modest in the fact that you say it's just a scratch in the amputee world that you've lost, just like you basically your shin in your foot. But still, to a regular human like me, that's mental. But it's also that robust resilience that you're sort of, not just because you're a para, but because you're a military person, it's sort of like put into you, isn't it, as well?
Yeah,
you pulled your leg up and I had a little laugh a second here. It was like, all right, a woman could use that as a dildo, but
to be honest, I wish it was the other leg. I would have got rid of some shit tattoos if it had been the other leg. So, but no, I mean, like I say, for me, it was just, like I say, I mean, I spent a long time in Birmingham, and it was just the fact of guys that came in, and you know, the guys with traumatic brain injuries as well. I mean, it's a different world. You know, it's kind of, with an amputation, you can see a prosthetic leg.
Yeah,
you know, and you can kind of go, oh, you know, that guy's lost an arm, that guy's lost a leg, or lost 2 limbs, 3 limbs, whatever. But as a head injury, you can't see anything. And like the guy that got blown up with me, my TIC, you know, he was affected with his short-term memory. Now, me and you would be like, oh, Tommo, where's my keys? And you're like, they're fucking there, you idiot, they're in front of you. But genuinely, like Jen, my mate, he literally couldn't remember he's like a goldfish. Like, he couldn't remember what he did like half an hour ago. And it really affected him massively. You know, he lost half his head. He had to have a plate put in his head and all stuff. And all you could see was a small little cut here and one at the back. It looked like he'd been in a bar fight. It looked like he'd been bottled or something. Do you know what I mean?
Nobody knows. It's the crazy thing about that sort of injury as well. It's as though he's sort of got, like, I know it's a traumatic brain injury, like you said. It's like he's got dementia already.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, you know, these guys that, you know, you used to be down at Headley Court, they've got to learn to talk again. They've got to learn to walk again. It's like a kid. It's like a baby again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the problem you get, especially being military blokes, and having that aggression, and when they've got a brain injury, you know, they come across as quite aggressive, or their speech.
I can see that happening as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know, the speech is slurred, and they sound like they're drunk. So straight away, because they're covered in toes, they're big guys, all the rest of it. People find them threatening and daunting. Do you know what I mean? And the fact is, it's not. They've got a brain injury, but they've got nothing they can see. But if I walk in wearing a prosthetic limb, people go, "Oh, yeah, are you military and all this stuff?"
Because I've seen. Obviously, I went through your Instagram because I'm a stalker. But obviously, I went through your Instagram, and what I had liked was the fact that in certain photos, like you at number 10, you're wearing like long trousers and things like that.
Yeah,
I always wondered, because you tend to see a lot of amputees that tend to wear like shorts and things. Is that because because the leg gets caught, or is that just, or is it like
the main
I
reason?
don't want to sound like a dick, but is that like a show off thing?
No, no.
By the way, I've lost my leg. Have a look.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like a postman. I do wear shorts quite a lot of the time, and the main reason being, it's my biggest hindrance as an amputee is sweating. Now they say, because even though you've lost a limb, this is what I've heard, you still have the same amount of volume of blood in your body, which obviously that keeps you warm. So even in winter, I'm fucking hot, and like guys that are double amputees, triple amputees, they're cutting around in shorts and a vest because they're just, you know, hot all the time. But it's also, for me, it's this thing here, right? This is my leg liner, so then we can really see it, right? So this goes over my leg. Now this, imagine wearing a military sock, right? And it's an issued sock, then putting your foot in a bin bag and then putting your boot on. That's what this feels like. So it's like sweating, you know, and literally I can, if I'm doing my training, whatever like that, I can empty it out, and it's like emptying like a welly boot full of water. So it's good to.
Do you know what? I never even thought of that. that you guys, that sounds
Yeah.
you guys, but I'm going to pigeonhole you motherfuckers. I never literally thought that like amputees and that would never even crossed my mind that you would have the same amount of blood flow as a regular
I didn't know
person. That sounds wrong,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I'm going to say it because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But because obviously, and then you obviously, because that amount of blood and water, you're going to get fucking red hot. Like I had Mark
Yeah.
Allbrod on a couple of years ago, probably last year. I never even thought to ask him about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's
No,
he's triple, isn't he? Triple amputee, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what I was told by a double amputee. That makes sense.
Sort of makes sense because obviously,
yeah,
if you go and give blood, your body will then go, I need to
replace that.
So of course it's gone. I'm going to replace that, and then you're like, fucking hell, I'm hot, mate. Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, for me, that's my biggest hindrance. I didn't suffer from phantom pain. I don't get anything else like that. For me, it's sweating, and from the result of that is then you get these fucking gopping pressure sores, and it looks like a little pimple. But imagine like this is my leg here, and imagine like this bit of plastic pushing against like a blister, basically. It's not very nice. So
I bet
it's good if you wear shorts, you can literally just push a button. I can take my leg off, and it's just rather than like take your jeans down and all the rest of it. Some guys wear a big suspension sleeve that comes up to their groin if they're below knee and all the rest of it. And if you're wearing jeans now, it's another layer. So that's why a lot of guys wear it. You know, obviously this.
Do you know what? I was always very ignorant.
I think it's more acceptable in the public eye.
Yeah. I was always very ignorant with it. I was always sort of like, are they wearing that because it's a talking point? Oh yeah, I lost my leg. Or is it a functional point, if that makes sense?
Yeah, but I think it's a mixture of both in a way, because also I think this day and age as well, it's more acceptable. Like if you would have gone back, I don't know, even back to the Falklands sort of time, you know, amputees and that were kind of like shut away. Whereas since the Iraq and Afghan conflict, you know, guys are kind of proud, and like prosthetics look pretty cool now.
My mate Robbo's got fucking Marvel fucking sleeves and all.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 13 different legs for different stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty. I've got more shoes. You know, it's That's awesome. But yeah, it's definitely it's an ease factor for sure. I mean, especially for like double amputees and that as well. You know. So,
That's a fair point. Like it's a strangely fascinating thing, because obviously it's not as shunned as it was. It was like you just said. It was like, fucking hell, he's lost his leg. I'm not going to talk to him. He's lost his leg. What?
I mean, for me, I love it with it. Like, obviously, kids. You know, kids are innocent and they look at you and they want to stare. Whereas adults,
they think you're fucking Iron Man, mate.
Yeah, I love it. And, you know, for me, it's, I'd rather, you know, I hate it when the parents go like, oh, don't look. And I was like, no, it's cool. Come over.
Come and look. Come and that's how genuinely, if I lost anything on tour or whatever, I'd be like, come and ask me. I'll tell you exactly what is what. Because there's no point in being like, don't look at him, or he might be embarrassed. He's not embarrassed. He's got that for a reason. Especially veterans. Like, if you've got diabetes, that's something different. Like, you just need to go to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, also as well, it's like I do quite a lot of talks in schools now with disabilities. Because now there's a lot more kids now going to school with disabilities. Where again, you know, probably before our sort of time and that.
Yeah, our sort of time. We had a way. When I was at primary school, we had the unit was our disabled section. And then when I went to
we had a place
called the Gilder unit, and it was like, I told my missus this, like, we had a thing at my school where we would take the Kilder unit out on like an exercise, like high ropes and things like that, and you have to sort of guide them through it. My brother did it, smashed it. I went to go and do it, and they went, "You're not coming." I was like, "What? I'm one of the school captains. I'm the basketball captain." I went, "Let me come and do it." And they went, "Nah, you'd take the piss." That was literally what the fucking head of department said to me. You would take the piss. I went, I would not take the piss out of disabled people. That's that's against my code.
But no, it's that's, I mean, when I was at school, like the kids with disabilities and that, you know, they were kind of shut away. You know, the place called the centre, they were put there. Whereas now, more kids now that, you know, that are born with disabilities, that are more accepted now. And like for me, it was, I was invited to my daughter's school, and you know, because a lot of the kids have seen me drop my daughter off, and they were just like wanted to ask but didn't. So the head teacher invited me in, did an assembly, took all my legs in, took some military stuff along as well. That's you know, passed them all around and explained. Even the parents came and sit in and watched because they were like didn't know how to approach it, sort of thing. So yeah, and that's, you know, it's much rather.
You definitely took the maroon lid in and was like, "Have you seen that?
Yeah,
earn that."
Yeah, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Fair.
Look at me, look away.
So, but you then took that from strength to strength. You obviously then started doing different challenges. You ran fucking half marathon. I can't even run a half marathon.
Yeah, so
I've got both legs.
Yeah.
But then again, one of my legs or both of my legs get tired. You've got an advantage.
I'm missing half of, three-quarters of a leg. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nah, that's just me taking the piss because generally it's a fucking inspiration, mate. It generally is. The fact that you've run half a marathon and now you're doing the different boxing stuff, it's fucking
I mean, it all started off. So when I discharged myself from Headley Court, probably the worst thing I could have ever done. I got to the point because you got to think, like, with pre-deployment training, the tour itself, being injured. I mean, I spent nearly a year at Selly Oak Hospital because I got MRSA and everything else. It was my arm, because I still had my arm. They kept operating on that as well. And the time I got to Headley Court, like all the para-reg blokes had been fixed or fixed a degree and moved on, either discharged or gone back to their regiment. And then it was like other regiments coming through, and I was thinking, fucking, oh, when am I ever going to get out of this, sort of thing? And then I got to the point, once I got the leg, and I was like, I'm out of here. And I went back to 2 para. I shouldn't have gone back really, but I was like, I lived there, and I was kind of like, you know, give me a job. And the RSM was like, can't, you P0, you shouldn't even be on camp. And he ended up sticking me as the provost sergeant, which was all right for a couple of months, but then I got fucking standard skiff with everything. You know, blokes were going on leave and I was there on rear party and all that sort of shit. Anyway, digress. But it was literally when I went to civilian street, I realised how good like the military rehabilitation system was. Like, we all moan about it, but literally, you're lucky on Civvy Street if you get half an hour a week of like.
Genuinely, right? I'm not gonna even compare to the fucking rehab that you had to do, but I've literally got glass ankles. I will walk down I'll walk down a straight road and I'll roll my ankle for literally no reason. And I was saying to my old man, because my old man has got exactly the same problem. My old man was a PJI for 2-2 SAS. He was the jump instructor for them, and I thought his ankles were bad because of his parachute jumps. No. Apparently, it's a hereditary thing. Brilliant.
No.
I remember I came off my Lance Corporal course because I rolled both my ankles on a tab. Literally fucking rolled them both, and I was like, I'm in clip. I literally, it was one of those, I wanted to get promoted, but also I was like, I can barely walk and I'll get recoursed if I fucking carry on. So I went to, and I was I remember we sat in the physio chair, and he came up to me and he went, push your foot against my hand. And I was doing it, and he went, all right, we'll try your left foot. And I did that, and he went, how many, are you part of 2 squadron? Have you got your wings? I was like, no. And he went, how many parachute jumps have you done? And I went, I haven't done any. And he went, you have literally gotten almost no ligament in your ankle. He went, it's a miracle that you've got through any sort of basic training or anything like that. I remember going through basic training and rolling my ankles, and I got sent to the med center, and they were like, oh, no, strap it up, you'll be fine. I was like, okay, cool. But long story short, I went and did some physio on it because I was fucked. they gave me the fucking rubber bands and all that. I was doing the rubber bands.
Yeah.
I remember being in the gym watching fucking everybody else work out like a fucking animal. And I was there with these fucking rubber bands on my legs. And I was like, I ain't doing this shit. And it was like, nah, I'm done. I went, I don't need any physio. Worst mistake I ever did. Genuinely. I was like, because they're still fucked now. I remember I did a charity football match for Rock to Recovery 2 years ago. In the middle of midfield, I turned to go and run after the ball and rolled my ankle. And I remember fucking doing it and I was in fucking agony. And I remember punching the floor, carried on playing the rest of the game as I do, because I'm a fucking idiot. My missus said to me at the end of the game, she went, you hurt yourself then, didn't you? Did you really hurt yourself? I went, yeah, I fucking really did. She went, that's because you got no ankles, have you? I was like, get fucking shit. And there you go. I just compared myself to an amputee. There you go. That's how I roll.
But no, what I was going to say as well was,
but no,
sorry,
my point was I should have carried on with the physio. It was free physio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't realise, you always think the grass is greener on the other side. But like I said, when I left the army, I was living in Northampton at the time, and then I was assigned to this physio centre at Northampton Hospital, and I rocked up on my mountain bike there, and this physio come running out going, what are you doing? You shouldn't be riding a bike. And I was just like, why not? And she was just like, what if you fall off? I went, do you ride a bike? What if you fall off? She's, why don't I ride a bike? And I went, exactly, this is what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. You're just speculating, right, that everyone should, now I've lost a limb, that I should be put in a box, wrapped in cotton wool, not doing anything. I mean, the way the NHS looked at me, it was kind of like, they basically wanted me to live downstairs. They didn't want me using the stairs. They wanted to make sure I had a downstairs toilet, I could eat and drink, and that I should be sleeping on the sofa, if not have a bed downstairs. That was all. That was, as long as I had that, it means I ticked all their boxes and I wasn't classed as high risk. And I was just like, fuck this. I said, this is why when people, no disrespect to people, when they suffer massive trauma or injuries, they kind of wrap themselves in cotton wool because these fucking specialists tell them that they can't do that. So that kind of set me on my journey to go, I'm going to prove to these fucktards. Oh, I think that's my daughter waking up. I'm going to prove to these people that that I can go on to do bigger, better things, So that set me on a journey of doing. First thing I did a mud run. Was the first thing I did, one of those tough mudders sort of things.
Yeah, she did tough mudder, and then you went on half marathon.
Half marathon, did the Royal Parks half marathon, and then did the after that. I think I went to boxing after that. So yeah.
To be fair, the whole boxing thing fucking intrigued me a lot. I think that's the reason why I think we mentioned it in the first part of the series.
Yeah.
Was you were like, how did it find you? I remember seeing that you were boxing, and I was like, he's only got one leg. And it fucking genuinely intrigued me, because I box, and I have boxed, and I was like, that's fucking incredible, because obviously not a lot of people realize how much effort goes into your legs when you're boxing. They're like, well, it's your fucking arms, mate. Yeah, your power is generated through your legs.
Yeah. Someone who can punch when they obviously through their legs, you can tell some difference, with their moving their legs. But yeah, it was. I just wanted to throw myself in there and just thought, what else can I do to change myself and to prove to other people that I don't want to come across like, look at me, look how great I am.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is just show people that it's not all doom and gloom. You won't have to do 100% better. I don't like using the term, but able-bodied people. But you can always adjust it, change it a little bit to suit how you are. So
that's what I like about it, and that's what is the big inspiration I feel with what you're doing, is the fact that you are doing what able people bodies can do. Look at the fucking size here as well, by the way. Fair play to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just train. Yeah. It's I love it. It's been my I mean, for me, people always talk about mental health and things like that. For me, training's always been my thing, you know, ever since, even before I joined up, it was all about, you know.
I totally agree. And I know a lot of people go, Tommo, look at yourself at the minute, by the way. Yeah, all right. I let myself go a little bit.
Yeah.
And as soon as I let myself go, that's when I was like, fucking hell, my mental health has gone on a downward here.
Yeah.
I've always been a physical person ever since, even before the fucking military. I was a personal trainer before I joined the military.
Yeah.
And it was like, up until like basically COVID hit, when I couldn't get to the gym and I was a bit lazy. Say a bit lazy. I was a lot lazy. And then I got a bit bigger and I was like, do you know what I mean? When you walk past a fucking window or something, you're like, Jesus Christ, what's happened to you, you fucking prick? But it's like, definitely, when I'm training, I'm a completely different person to the person that is just a fat cunt that sat on the sofa going, you're gonna pass me some more Skittles or not? Do you know what I mean?
I was quite lucky in lockdown one. I was actually homeless in lockdown one. And I actually lived in a gym through lockdown 1, 2, and 3. I mean, everyone was like, "You're so lucky you live in a gym," but it was all right for an hour of the day. But I didn't see anyone because I was on the industrial estate. It's like an apocalypse. I literally walk open the door and just go, "Hello," and didn't speak to anyone. And if I was lucky on Thursday, if the wind was blowing my direction, I'd hear the people clapping for the NHS. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, that was
it's crazy though, isn't it? People do say that. Oh, you're lucky you live. Like my dad used to own a gym back before I joined up, and he was like, "Oh, you're lucky you own a gym." Yeah. I live there. I work, I train, and then when I want to go home, I'm still pretty much at the gym. I don't sit there and go, right, what I'm going to do for 24 hours is lift weights because I'm mental.
Yeah.
Just mate.
Yeah.
Tell you what I was going to ask before the fucking clock dies on us again. Alfie Pope. Do you know Alfie Pope? Signal's gone, is it? Oh, you back?
I know Alfie Pope. Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I'm back. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I think we're ready. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, Alfie Pope is. I've known Alfie Pope since before I joined the Air Force, because he gave me shit for joining the Air Force Regiment. And when I came back off basic training just after his first injury, which was the severed Achilles, I believe, by an IED. And I remember going out on the piss with him in Hereford.
It was an RPG. He got
that was it.
By an RPG, didn't he? Took his ankle off, or took his heel off. Yeah.
Yes. So I went out on the piss with him in Hereford, which is both our hometowns, and he was on his crutches. He was giving me shit constantly because I was obviously Air Force Regiment. He was like, "You're not fucking airborne." All this. I was like, "Cool." I went, "I can still drink you under the table even if you are on your crutches, you cunt." And that was until he went, "Tommo, we're going to get on the airborne water." And I was like, "What the fuck are you on about, airborne water?" And he went, "Right, we're going to have, I think, what was it, 7 clear shots, topped off with a dash of lemonade." And I was like, "All right, fuck it. I will fucking drink that." And he went, "It's airborne water, my son. You're not going to be able to drink it." I went through about 3 or 4 of those in a Weatherspoons, this was. And then I remember walking out of the Weatherspoons and the fucking air hit me. And I said to him, I went, "Alfie, I need your fucking crutches, mate. I'm fucked."
Brilliant.
But yeah,
that'd be me now. I'm 2-pint Mike now these days. I hardly drink at all. I think if I drank 1 pint, I'd be out.
A fucking madness, mate. But he's a fucking top lad, Alfie. And he's a podcast. He did say he was going to come on because he's recently did the choice of taking his own leg off, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. It's
he was in a lot of pain, I believe.
He didn't do. He just a lot of pain. Surgery wasn't working, and these surgeons will keep offering you and things like that, and you get to the point of like, how much of my body am I prepared to sacrifice in order for something to work? And it's it's you know, it's like me now. I've had skin grafts, bone grafts, nerve grafts. So you just like, but every time people come visited me, they were like, you got more bandages on you now than you had when you first come in. I was like, oh, they've chopped a bit off here, they've moved a bit over here, they've done this, they've done that. It just gets to a point where it's like, fuck off, leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely, I know exactly what you mean. Well, I don't know exactly what you mean. That was a complete lie, but I can empathise with what you mean. That's what I probably meant.
But no, I've since gone on to just recently trained a guardsman who's an amputee as well. He won his first fight.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what, Mike?
Pretty cool.
Oh, we'll wait for signal to come back. Tell you what we'll do.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll send you one more link. We won't do the full 40 minutes.
I got you.
Yeah, we won't do the full 40 minutes because it's about to cut off, and I want the rest of this story.
Okay.
I'll send you the link, mate. Boom.
Sorry, mate. My daughter came down the stairs just then.
That's all good, mate. I know exactly the feeling. They tend to come all the way down to the shed and start knocking on the door. I have it when if I'm doing it during the day on like a weekend, and I'm like, Daddy will be in the shed. I'm recording, and then I'll get, Daddy, fucking Sophia's being a dick. It's like, whoa, language.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely.
Fucking girls, mate. Girls. So you were saying you helped a guardsman out with his boxing.
Yeah, so guy called Mark Smith. He's quite well known on sort of social media. He was, his stories, he was shot six times on a training exercise, live firing exercise. Right. As a result, he lost his leg above the knee, but he went on to be 6 times
in a training exercise.
Yeah, in Canada. Yeah. He
fucking hell.
Brassed up, man. Yeah. So he got hit in the femoral artery in the leg, and that's what kind of made him lose his leg above the knee. But he went on to be, he done a series of bodybuilding, what's got him through his rehab, and then he went on to be Britain's disabled strongest man, world's disabled strongest man, won the Arnold's as well, and now then he went into amputees. He went from 30 stone as a strong man, and then now he's does amputee football, and he made it into the England amputee football team. But like women's football, there's no money in it, so he had to self-fund it. But he could have quite easily gone on social media and crowdfunded and all the rest of it, but he wanted to earn it. So he came to me and was like, Mike, I want you to teach me how to box. So I was just like, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Because he's above knee as well, so it's a whole different world with amputations with above the knee.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, he's got about 6 inches of a thigh. That's all he's
got
left.
Like we said, the punch power basically comes for your legs. So if you've still got your quad.
Yeah. And a big thing in the knee as well. The knee is such a huge factor of it. You know, being able to like change heights and
movement.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, right then. So we started training. I trained people in my garage here where I live, and so we had to find another amputee, which is obviously hard as well, because most above knee amputees normally box out of wheelchairs and things like that, which he didn't want to do. He wanted to do it standing
he wanted to do it standing. Okay, I can get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it turns out the guy that tourniqueted my leg, his brother, who's a civilian, nothing to do with the military, he's above knee amputee as well, lost his leg to cancer.
Really?
And he started boxing because he saw me boxing. So I brought these two people together as a result of me boxing.
You brought these two people together to beat fuck out of each other.
Yeah, basically. And yeah.
Love that.
And they fought, when was it? Been about 6 weeks ago now. And my guy Mark won the fight on a split decision. But what a fight! But to see two guys above knee fighting as well, you know, it was full respect to them both. And for me, it was great. You know, first person I ever trained and got a win as well. So yeah, it was good as well.
So had you boxed before? The
only sort
obviously you guys milled and things like that. That's not boxing. But obviously the Power Reg has quite a distinguished boxing team. Did you not?
Yeah, three power. Yeah, 3 Para are the boxing sort of team within.
Oh, is it 3 Para that's the boxing team?
Yeah.
So I know obviously Marshman and a few of the other UFC fighters.
Yeah.
I think is it 2 UFC fighters and a couple of pro boxers?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, all sort of come from 3 Para, and even if you're in one of the other battalions, you're good at boxing, you'll get moved over to 3 Para.
Ah, got you. I get you.
We had a couple of guys from 2 Para that were pretty good, and then they moved over to fight for 3 Para for that. But you're literally that is you. You're just boxing. And that's it.
Obviously they're either boxing or fucking fucking
stay away from
apparently.
Stay away from 3 Para mortars or redheads.
Apparently redheads, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was going to get your take on that, being Para Reg.
All I'm going to say on that is the blokes just don't screw them up for themselves. You know, these phones and that.
Do you know what? I said the same thing to the lads on my WhatsApp group, because they were like, Tommo, how are you getting all this stuff? And I went, it's on fucking line. What do you mean? How am I getting this stuff?
I got it originally from my mate who's in the RAF regiment. That's the first person who sent it to me.
That's where I got it from. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I sent it to the lads in my fucking WhatsApp group, and they're like, why can't people just screw the net and not video? Yeah. Why do you have to video it?
Well, this is it, man. I mean, stuff like this has been going on for years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, every camp's got a,
we got our own story. I won't throw my mates under the bus, but we got our own story.
But every camp has got one, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we used to call our ones frogs, because they would jump from rock to rock.
Yeah.
They were our frogs. But I was bamboozled by it. I was like, why are you filming it? But it's not the fact that there's like one. It's like each separate occasion wherever she was, someone was filming that fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, fellas. This is not fucking OnlyFans.
No. And because there's so many platforms out there now, with TikTok and fucking whatever else is out there, do you know what I mean? It just goes like that. It's mental within.
But it did. We could even go back to fucking my regiment lot. So my regiment lot were in the paper for. It was literally my squadron that I was part of, with the mortar tube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you know what's funny about that? I got the blame for that.
Instantly, yeah.
No, genuinely, I had a message from a buddy of mine that's on basics now. I served with him on the squadron. A very good friend of mine. He was like, Tommo, why did you sell that story to the Sun newspaper? I was like, what the fuck are you on about? He went, you sold the story to the Sun newspaper. I've been told, so that you could fund your podcast. And I went, what? I went, if I was going to fund my podcast, I wouldn't be sat in my shed.
Yeah.
With a MacBook that was bought by my dad. Do you know what I mean? I was like, and also, if you knew anything about me, why would I sell a story about lads? I went, that's not what I'm about. At all.
Definitely.
Madness, mate.
But yeah.
Technology these days, my man.
Definitely. No, 100%. 100%. It's it's what gets the blokes into this shit. I mean, there's all sorts of rumours flying around about 3 Para can't deploy now, and some
I did hear that
be put on or something. So yeah, it's just kind of
I saw that. I get all my gen from Fill Your Boots, because it makes me laugh.
With yeah, I know the guy does Fill Your Boots as well. Yeah,
he's sound bloke, isn't he?
Ex-Reg. Yeah, ex-Reg. He's all right. He's a good lad. But yeah,
you know what? Back in, we'll give it a few years. Like back in a few years' time, like I used to get wound up by Fill Your Boots, because it was obviously always my regiment related. It was like, oh, these shit cunts, blah, blah. And I used to bite on that shit. I used to bite so bad, because I'm like, we're not fucking shit. We didn't shoot our own body armor. We don't do the 5 mile of death. This is bullshit. And it's like, now I'm like, I literally just do that. I just fucking laugh. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I'm like, why did I used to get wound up by this? Like, proper.
You're proud though, in a way, aren't you? You're proud.
Yeah, I think. But then again, everyone's proud of.
Yeah.
But you're also sort of drilled into you to be proud of the regiment that you serve with.
100%. Yeah, it's like my mate who's he's RAF regiment. He's like, there's something went out in that 3 boots, and they're doing some drill thing, and they've got like literally their rifle magazines are glowing up.
Oh mate, 63 in it with their fucking glowing
My mate was saying they've got one of these things coming up again soon, and he's kind of goes, I've gone on the fucking sick, so I don't have to fucking do it. It's
mad, mate. It's one of those with the drill stuff, because obviously you're gonna get shit for it. 63 Squadron are fucking brilliant at drill. Not that anyone wants to be proud to be good at drill, because it's fucking shit. But it's like, but also you watch it as a civilian, you'd watch that and go, that's fucking cool. Look at their fucking rifles glow up. But as a fucking military bloke, you're like, what are you, fucking Luke Skywalker with your fucking lightsaber? What are you doing, you cunt? You know what I mean? It's madness.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a drill fucking soldier. I'm a fucking soldier. It's like, we get all this shit, like 5 Mile of Death and all that bullshit. But even the biggest thing that always got me was that bloke that said the 5 Mile of Death.
Yeah.
Scouse Taylor, his name is.
Yeah.
He was part of SFSG. He served with you boys. I can't remember who he was with, if it was 3 or 2. But he was attached to a parachute regiment at some. He's actually a fucking alley bloke.
Yeah.
And then he said that in he to be fair, he was fucking mental, by the way.
I could imagine that.
I remember we were on live firing during our final exercise on what was our infantry phase on field gunners, and I misheard a fucking communication between fucking someone. And with these ears, you can't get away with that shit. And he was like, what's your fucking name? And I was like, Thompson, flight. And he was like, Thompson. He went, yeah. He went, so you can hear me? And I went, yeah. And he went, put your fucking head in that waddy. And I was like, all right. So I smashed my head in this fucking little stream that was but pulled it out, and he went, can you hear me now? And I was like, yes, fine. He went, put it in again. So I put my fucking head in again, pulled it out, and he went, now fucking give the command that I just fucking told you to give. And I was like, yes, flight, yeah. You're fucking. But then I was like proper switched on. It was fucking mad. And I was like, why is this guy getting so much hate? He's actually fucking as mental as he is. He's a switched on fucking bloke. But he happened to make the mistake to say you could stand toe to toe with the Paras and the Marines and say I am, because we ran 5 miles.
Everyone bit then, didn't they?
But they did, mate, because to be fair, right, I don't know if this was just my course or all the others that we did on our infantry phase. We did not do 5 miles. We did I can't even tell you how far it was, but it was further than 5 miles. And it was all the kit, all the bomb. And we did a 24-hour firefight, fucking taking positions, losing positions into trench positions, fucking foxhole firing, all sorts. It was madness for literally 24 hours, and it was Index, and I've never been so hanging in my life. Seeing the fucking White Angels come over when you on the fucking exercise, I was like, thank fuck for that. And then you watch that video and you're like, that was fucking easy. I was like, we did ours in Otterburn, and Otterburn is horrible. Like, it literally pissed it down we were there for 3 weeks. It pissed it down for at least, predominantly the 3 weeks. We had about 2 days where it was clear. And on those 2 days where it was nice and sunshine, we had to do fucking river crossings. It was like, we weren't dry for the whole fucking 3 weeks that we were there. It was fucking hanging.
We've all been there. Sounds horrendous.
We've all been there, my son. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What is in the horizon for you then? What's the next challenge that you're doing, if you're doing one?
I'm quite enjoying.
Or are you hitting people some more?
I'm quite enjoying training people for boxing now.
Fair play.
I've got a real mixture of. They're all most of them. Well, I've had one military guy, but most of them are civilian. But they've all come with like their own stories as well. Like I've got people who've suffered from domestic violence. People like young lads and that have got autism, bullying. I've even got older people that have been bullied and stuff like that. So, and for me, it's just, I just love giving back and helping people out, really. I see some of the people that I've been training, and where they come through, when I first met them, couldn't throw a single punch, and now they're like rapid, you know what I mean? And I just think I get a buzz out of that.
It's good, isn't it? It is good.
I've thought about fighting again as well, but I'm 39 now, and I'm like, God, you know, up against 20-year-olds, it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? It's
you don't want to keep beating up little kids, do you?
So. Me getting beaten up by little kids, that's the thing, you know.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah, but
no, I do love fighting. I do get the I get the coaching aspect of it. I took 2 of my mates that ended up doing white collar fights.
Yeah,
I ended up doing a bit of their training because I don't. You must have known about the different white collar boxing events and things like that. And for me, they don't get enough. Yes, they get the 8-week training package, but it's 8 weeks. It doesn't take you 8 weeks to learn how to box.
No, I get a lot of white collar guys come to me, and the things they get is it's a group session. You know,
yes.
They're not really learning.
It's not coaches, mate. And as you know, when you're boxing, you need that one-on-one. And I go boxing on a Monday night at the minute with a local lot, and they've noticed that I have boxed and can box, so they put me with the other guys that can box and have boxed. Yeah. And it's different when you have someone that can't hold pads to someone who can hold pads.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because you get the better movement, that it's a better workout as such. It's so much hard work to train with someone who can't box.
Oh,
it's good when you're the coach and you're training them to box, because then you can teach them how to do it. But when you're white collar boxing, you get put with Joe Bloggs who's never thrown a punch before, and you're like, oh, brilliant! You're gonna get me to the next level so I can fight my opponent.
Yeah,
so I did a white collar boxing, and the bloke I fought was he was at least 6'2", so that's a good 6 inches above me in height, but he was also 20 kilos heavier than me at that time.
That's huge. It's huge, massive.
And luckily for me, I said it to my missus like afterwards. I was like, I was never going to lose that fight with you watching. I was like, that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Not in a white collar match. If it was a proper match, I could understand losing, but a white collar match, I was never going down in front of my missus. That wasn't happening. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like,
hit by someone who's 20 kilos heavier. It's a game changer. It's
but luckily for me, I took it serious.
Yeah.
I was in a fight camp. I was on a strict diet. I was like Mondays and Thursdays were 2-a-days. The rest of the week was like training sessions, whether it is boxing or not boxing. But I was like, I'm taking this fucking seriously. And then this guy obviously wasn't, because he got knocked out.
Nice, well done.
But do you know what I mean? With the white, I can understand why they would come to you for extra sessions. Definitely.
Yeah, I get quite a few. I've got quite a few Eastern European guys come to me, love white collars and things and that as well. And you know, they've got 45 seconds in the tank, and it's now
it's to coach them to control.
And also, everyone in white collar, everyone goes headhunting in white collar, you know, and you know yourself, you throw just a jab to someone's body, and you know you can kind of take it in the face a little bit, you know, as long as you get knocked
genuinely, out. That's exactly what I did in my fight. I hit him in the stomach. I must have hit him in the stomach. At least 80% of my punches were going to his body. And then
I don't care how big, how tough you are, they wear you down.
When I knew it was time, it was I did a fake. I remember it now. I did a fake to the body, jab to the head, and then I did a full right hand. That was the first one. It was basically a straight right, and he sort of wobbled, and it was a standing 8 count because he did fucking wobble.
Yeah.
And the next couple was I was hooking him to the body, and then I threw a right uppercut to the chin, which he sort of blocked. And as he blocked it, I came down and went overhand right, and he was fucking gone.
Nice. Nice.
And I was like, because I knew it. I was like, I'm not going to hit him in his fucking flabby belly. I went,
yeah.
He's not going to take that. And like you said, yeah.
That's it. Like I say, I always say people can condition themselves a little bit to get punched in the face and it hurts, whatever you can kind of take. But you know, when you hit someone, everyone knows what it's like to be winded, and it's not nice.
Worst feeling.
As soon as you hear that air exhale someone's body, it kind of then puts you on to go in on the attack. You know, so it's kind of. But yeah, I always tell people, I don't care how big or tough you are, you take one to the body properly. And you even see the pros, you know, they'll take it. You hear that, that sort of noise.
My favourite
Ricky second, and they take a knee, don't they? That's it. Take the 8 count. I'd rather take an 8 count, you know, with a body shot.
Ricky Hatton was my favourite. I've got a photo of his famous body shots.
I was supposed to go and see him fight on the 2nd of July, but they put it back to.
I was literally going to say, what's your take on him getting back in the ring?
Oh, I think it's great. You've seen from in front of social media, he's lost all his weight.
How much weight has he lost?
He was like that when he was fighting.
Things like that, genuinely, it gives me inspiration because I'm a chunky fucker at the minute. I'm not supposed to be this big, and I'm like, Ricky Hatton's done it. Look at the size on that.
Yeah. I went and listened to his he did like a motivational talk after he got knocked out by Pacquiao, and
I remember watching that, mate. I remember watching that in Iraq.
Yeah,
because I was like, fucking Hatton's gonna do fucking Pacquiao. He went 10 rounds in Mayweather. Yes, he was held, and there's a lot of things against him in the Mayweather fight. I believe. Yeah. And then I was like, he's gonna do Pacquiao. Pacquiao's fucking come up 2 weight classes. He's not gonna last. And I remember watching it, and I was like those fucking 2 minutes or whatever it was. I was devastated.
Yeah,
I cried when he lost fucking Mayweather. That's how invested I was.
I think he was, because I remember I was maybe I could talk or something, and I went along to it, and, like, put on loads of weight, and literally there was like a table with a pint of Guinness on it, and he literally came out, necked this pint of Guinness, put it back. This fucking chick ran out, replaced the empty glass with a fresh pint. And he was talking for about an hour and a half. He must have sunk about 8 pints of Guinness, but he talked about the Pacquiao fight, he talked about the Mayweather fight. It was brilliant, really, really good. I
love Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I think that to quote what we were just talking about, he's a white collar fighter.
Yeah. I
fucking love you. Him and Joe Calzaghe were.
Oh, I've got so much respect for Joe Calzaghe. He came down to Headley Court. There was a lad.
Oh, really?
He was 3 para. He was a PTI down at Purbright, and he was on his way back to camp. Driving back to Purbright, and a deer ran across the road. He was on the windy roads going into camp, and he swerved and hit a tree, and it put him in a wheelchair. And this lad was like 3 para boxing champion, his weight class, super fit, PTI, and he was paralysed from the neck down.
Oh,
couldn't talk, speech had gone, and the bloke was just traumatized, you know, from being super fit to being in a wheelchair. And he's like,
that's got to be the worst.
His mum's having to hold his water.
Especially as like fucking infantry minded you guys are. He's a PTI, fit as fuck.
And like I say, his mum had to like feed him for a fucking straw and everything. Anyway, Joe Calzaghe, because this guy was from Wales. And Joe Calzaghe came down to Headley Court and sat with him for about 2 hours off his own back, brought some gloves down, signed him and everything, but sat with him. Joe Calzaghe was in like tears, like, because obviously I think he kind of knew the family or something.
Yeah.
And, he was destined for big things, this lad, for boxing. And just a genuine decent bloke, Joe Calzaghe, because there's loads of fucking bellends that came down.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's loads of bellends. There's loads with you guys at Headley Court. There must have been loads of bellends that were just in it for the PR stuff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the whole X Factor thing. You know, you could just tell things like Simon.
Oh, fuck yeah! Was that during your time when you were there?
Yeah. So I remember like I was on the ward, and the RSM of Headley Court, she came up and was like, right, X Factor are here. You know, you guys have got to come. I was like, what do I fucking want to do that? Not interested in the slightest. And she was like, you need to come down, you need to wear your regiment t-shirt, be really good for the newspaper. So I went down wearing a fucking Iron Maiden t-shirt. And she was like, you should be wearing your Para t-shirt. I was like, no, I'm doing that. I've been a publicity stunt. Anyway, I had who was the band? What are they called? It was like a boy band in X Factor 2008. I can't remember what they are now. Oh fucking hell, I can't think of their names. Anyway, they all did like a group hug around me. I'm in my wheelchair like this, and they came around and they were like, "Yeah, man, we know what it's like to be shot. Like we're all from the streets." And I was just like, "Get the fuck away from me now, you
No.
fucking
What?
like that."
We know
Jealous,
what
that's it,
shot from the
jealous.
street. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
jealous. And I
off.
was like, you're educated, you're fucking educated, you cunt. And look at it like that, you know what I mean? I was just like, and that's a wheel. I was like,
12 years old.
Father Jack getting wheeled off, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I had a bit of a running with. I told Ross Kemp to fuck off as well.
Genuine.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't his fault. He was in the wrong place, wrong time. I think it was like
I
I'd had some horrendous infection in my arm, and Headley Court had this big thing about if soldiers failed to turn up to an appointment, they were going to be charged. And
Really?
I had this appointment to go back up to Birmingham, and they'd forgot to put my transport. And I was sat down at the guard room for like an hour and a half, fucking freezing my nuts off in a wheelchair. So I wheeled myself back up, and I said to the nurse, I was like, "Where's the transport?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we forgot to book it." I was like, "Hang on, you just briefed the blokes up, saying you're going to charge them for missing an appointment. I've just been sat down there with an infected arm. There's a chance I might lose it, and you're saying you forgot to put my transport." Anyway, Ross Kemp comes up and he's like, "Can I help here?" And I was like, "You can fuck off as well, you can't," like that. And yeah, I got wheeled off. And,
fucking zippy. Fuck
yeah,
off.
I was like Father Jack going, getting wheeled off down the corridor.
That's mad, mate.
But yeah, you got a lot of bellends that turned up.
I bet. Is a Jen question for you. Did you ever want to do Invictus Games?
I'll be honest, right? I tried out for Invictus Games for powerlifting, and I did quite well in the tryouts and stuff like that. And when I went to the final interview, and they found out how I was injured by a friendly fire, and they said I wouldn't be able to say that on TV. Because it's kind of showing that the military were at fault for my injuries.
Wow.
And they couldn't promote that. And I was like, they want me to change my story to say I was hit by a IED or something like that. And I went, no, because my family know what's happened to me. My friend knows.
Yeah.
If I'm on TV.
Can you imagine if you went on fucking telly, all your fucking 2-power muckers watching you, and you went, "Oh, I got hit by IED." They'd be like, "No, he fucking didn't."
Yeah.
He was blown up by a fucking Rupert. They didn't know where the fucking danger zone was.
Exactly. I've got a mate of mine as well, same tour as me, 2-power. He was a sergeant, 2-power mortar sergeant. Blew his arm off on a mortar. It wasn't a misfired mortar. It was literally they dropped the bomb down the tube. It hadn't even hit the firing pin. It swelled up in the barrel.
Yeah.
And 4 or 5 Commando had mentioned barrel 3 was a bit faulty, and obviously they got the big clamps they use on to get the misfired round out. And my mate, he thought, right, this barrel's a bit dodgy. I'll restore faith in the blokes. I'll do the first misfire on this round. Anyway, he put the clamp on, and all he done was push the bomb down. It hit the firing pin, came off, and fucking took his forearm off. Anyway, he's gone on to play. He plays golf now with one arm, and he's fucking good as.
I can't play golf with 2 arms, mate.
No, he's like Happy Gilmore, mate, with one arm. You know what I mean? And he tried out for the Invictus Games for golf, and he spent best part of a year qualifying to be in the Invictus Games, right? And got to the final interview, and again he was just like, "Well, what happened to you?" And he was like, "Oh, misfired round and a mortar and like this." They're like, "We can't promote that. We can't say the British military's
fucking
equipment
mental.
is at fault
for
your injury."
Promote that.
They can't promote it to the world. Obviously, you're going to be on TV and all the rest of it. Yeah.
But the fucking crazy thing, that shit happens. That's war.
Yeah.
And not war, as it were. But that annoys me, because they got people in there that are pretty much able-bodied.
Well, this is the other thing, right? How do they put someone with an ankle fusion in the same category as a below-knee amputee? Now, I've got a mate who's a amputee rower, and he was up against someone with an ankle fusion, and he's saying, despite having an ankle fusion, he's still got an ankle to push off, whereas I've got to push off a prosthetic or push off the end of my stump.
You can't feel that.
Right. Yeah. So
it's not there.
I
totally agree, mate. It's fucking that's mind-boggling. Generally,
Yeah, it's like I say, I'm quite open about that, and
I like the fact that you are, because I'm a big advocate for Invictus Games. Obviously, like I said, my mate Robbo did wheelchair rugby, and now he is part of the Olympic team that won gold in fucking Tokyo.
No, don't get me wrong, it's been
and I was always genuinely, I was always like, fucking, they're doing brilliant stuff. And then when you hear I know it's only a side thing, but it's like, but that happens. You don't see. You don't see the Americans going, "Oh, you can't promote him. He friendly fire."
Yeah, that's mad. After that happens,
we can't have Mike Lewis on the show today. Why not? Friendly fire.
Friendly fire. Yeah.
What happened was there was a Rupert that didn't understand what danger close meant.
Yeah, he's living the dream now. So last I heard, he's at SRI now. Last I heard.
Really? Has he? Yeah. Right. Genuine question: has he ever reached out and said?
When I was in Selly Oak, he rang me from Afghanistan from a field phone, crying down the phone, saying sorry. And my words to him were, "You shouldn't be talking to me. You need to get yourself legal cover, because what you've done was completely wrong." And he's like, I'm sorry like that. And in the end, when he used to call up the nurse's desk, and I'd be like, "Who is it?" It'd be like, "Oh, it's such and such from Afghanistan." I'd be like,
"Yeah, I wouldn't ask for the name, don't worry."
No, I'd be like, "I'm like, don't want to talk to them. No, don't want to speak to them at all." So I had a moment as well when I went back to Colchester. I remember I was coming back from a physio appointment on camp, and I was coming through camp, and I walked past 7RHA's battalion headquarters, and the CO and the RSM jumped out the door and were like, "We need to talk to you. You need to come in here." And I was just like, "No." And they were like, "Oh, we just want to talk to you about the incident that happened." And I'm like, "I'm a Buckshee full screw. You're a warrant officer. You're a command officer, lieutenant colonel. There's no way I'm going in there to view." And what they were trying to do was to say that they'd had, because to this day, I've still not had a board of inquiry. What happened? I mean, I know what happened. No, I know what happened to me. I know what went wrong that day, but no one's ever sat me down and gone, "Right, Corporal Lewis, this is what happened on that day. This is why it happened, and this is what we're going to do about it." Now, if you go to Warminster, where they deal with the artillery fire and everything like
that,
my ex-brother-in-law, he was ex-9 Squadron, Royal Engineer. He said to me, he went down to Warminster and said, "You never fucking guess what, Mike?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "The DS down there used your incident of Herrick. This happened to a platoon in Afghanistan when artillery hit. This is not how you call artillery in." So the armies recognise.
They've recognised it, but they're not compensated.
No, but what they said to me was they put my incident down to what they call combat immunity, meaning because I was engaged in enemy forces and shooting the bad guys, it's tough shit. Shit happens, which I get.
That's wound me up, and I wasn't even part of the incident.
Yeah, I get, but they said if I'd been walking down the street,
it's one of those. I'd probably be the same sort of shoe as you. I'd be like, yeah, fucking war, that happens. But when you, as a outsider looking in, you're like, hang on a minute, a fucking Rupert has done something, and
I'll tell you something, Tommo, though, right? If this would have happened, right? So because of the regiment I served with, right now, if that officer in a firefight had run across me and I didn't see him and I had shot him by pure accident, not actual aimed at him, ran across my line of fire and I shot him, because of the regiment I was in and the cap badge I served under, I would have been hung out to dry in the sun, in one of the media newspapers, and it would have been "Paratrooper shoots innocent officer," because of the way the regiment is, everything else. On the front page, they would have put a guy on with a berry with a blurred out face with a GPMG, looking mean and addy as fuck, and gone like, "This guy shot," and I would have been literally hung out to dry for it. But with him, everything was buttoned down very, very quickly. It was, and like I said, he knew he was in the wrong, because I said he wouldn't have called me up in hospital.
It's one of those, what you know, who you know, isn't it? It's bollocks. Is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just glad that no one was killed in that incident, or if the Brad had come over the wall, he would have wiped out a whole platoon. So I'm just glad it didn't come over the wall, because the whole platoon was in that compound. So it would have been a mess. Do you know what I mean? So he's just lucky that he hasn't killed anyone. You know what I mean?
And unfortunately for that officer, he now, as much as he's phoned you up crying and that, he needs to really think about.
Don't get me wrong.
Really think about it, because he, as beneficial as it could be now for you, in terms of your boxing, your other fucking charity events and things like that you're doing, sure, but also he sort of ruined your career.
100%. I mean, for me on that tour, my goal was to go on selection after that tour, and try out and go special forces. That was the goal. I kind of felt that was kind of taken away from me.
Definitely was.
Don't get me wrong, being injured has closed a lot of doors for me, but it's also opened up a lot of other new doors.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm just glad that mentally I'm fine, and my injuries I've kind of got over.
the mentally thing.
But it's just, yeah, I mean, I just still say to this day it could have been 100% been avoided. I mean, the way I looked at it was he was out to get a name for himself. He wanted a medal on that tour. It was because it was a company net. He was constantly, whatever the OC said, he would repeat it. It's like, fucking hell, do you know what I mean? Just shut the fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like I say, I mean, people say to me, "Oh, what would you do if you bumped into him?" I mean, I'd like to educate him behind closed doors for 1 minute. Pair of boxing gloves.
Well, tell you what, we'll give you 3 minutes.
3 minutes, so that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Give you 3 minutes.
3 minutes. What happens if he fills me in though?
And tell you what. But it's one of those. It's the old fucking thing in it. Is you do it, and then if it's done, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to say to him, I'd just say, what would be nice for your head
to do it face to face, like just you and him, not anyone else.
Yeah,
just you and him. Just go. Even if you're in a bar, not having a fight or anything, you've got a fucking couple of glasses of whiskey or rum or fucking a couple of pints or whatever. Not that you drink much, and you sit there and go, right, we need to air this out because I'm missing fucking my mate on my leg, and that was
missing my foot, and they've got a fucking special needs arm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk me through your actions on that day. Go.
Yeah.
This is your time for you to air this out.
I tell you what, all he was out to do, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there was instances on that tour where he did some artillery and did get us out some pretty shitty situations.
Yeah.
But for me, he should have just listened to the blokes on the ground.
Yes.
That were there.
And that's what a lot of Ruperts don't understand is the guys on the ground.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're in your situation or in what my situation was. Like I said, when we're going down Barmer fucking lanes and we're vulnerable points, you need to listen to the guys on the ground. They have done it. They know it. They've done it in fucking Iraq. They've done it in Afghanistan. They've done it in fucking even the old sweats. They've done it in fucking Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
They know what they're fucking doing. Listen to the guys on the ground. Stop being a dickhead. We get it. You're young. You're fucking a Rupert. You've got your fucking couple of pips on your fucking lapel. Chill the fuck out. Listen to the guys on the ground. We've done it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get your fucking MBE being a cunt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Boom.
He probably has got an MBE.
He probably has, yeah. They fucking give them out like fucking sweets at the minute, don't they?
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, fucking right. Yeah. But no, I mean, I say for me though, it's just glad no one was like serious. Well, I say seriously, but killed in that incident. I think for me,
definitely, mate. That would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
What you've got now is terrible, and what your Oppo had, and the other lads that got hit with that friendly fire or friendly fucked, because friendly fire is not friendly. That's a fucking disgrace as it is, because they obviously didn't listen to you guys, and as well as you're doing with it now, it still doesn't give your fucking leg back or your career.
No, definitely not. You know, it's but you know, the way you take a positive out of it. I mean, prosthetics are so much better now, and like I say, I mean, it's yeah, it's just I was trying, for me, it's just sort of stay positive. Really, if you let it get on top of you, then I think that's when all the shit really starts up. Then, so yeah,
definitely. Well, Mike, I'm not going to take up any more of your time because we're literally less than a minute away before it cuts me out.
Okay, buddy. Cool.
Again, mate, genuinely, I could have Joe Rogan the shit out of this. We could have gone for 3 hours. I would have finished a fucking bottle of whiskey and I would have gone in and my missus would have been like, "You're pissed." And I'm like, "Well, I'm pissed now, but I'm usually pissed." But
no, I really enjoyed it.
Generally, mate, thank you very much for coming on. It's fucking been my pleasure, my privilege to have you on.
Good stuff. Thank you for inviting me as well.
No, genuinely, thank you. It was fucking brilliant.
Nice one.
I'll catch you soon. I'll let you know when it's all out and you can do what you like with any links or whatever, but it'll be out. It'll probably be out tomorrow afternoon.
Cool. All right, Tommo. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Mike. Have a good one, mate. Cheers.
Bye.